After they run around my house with guns and kick down my door, I got the right to kick a can in my backyard, use my freedom of speech, turn my bad times into a good time. Yes, I do.
The story of Afroman begins about 3 years ago, and it's one of the issues that I actually covered back in the day, about 3 years ago. So I want to start this piece by showing you a flashback episode where I covered this story. I like rewatching it. I really love the sentiment that I had and the way that the story ends. So enjoy. I was going to mow my lawn, but then I got high. You know the song. It's very popular. But a lot of people might have missed this. And interestingly enough, the reason I saw it is because of the rapper R.A. the Rugged Man. I follow him on Facebook. Good rapper if you haven't checked him out. Been around a long time, veteran. He shared this video that Afroman did. And at the time I saw it, and I don't know how long ago this was, but I feel like it was about a year ago. Maybe it wasn't that long ago. But in this video, what had basically happened is cops had raided Afroman, and he had security camera footage of these cops going through all this stuff, and he made a song about it and used the footage of the cops like raiding him and was like clowning these cops, making fun of them as they're going through his stuff. And he even goes over the indictment. It has like kidnapping charges and drug trafficking. And so, you know, the song, you can see the video. I don't want to get copyright charges, so I'm not going to play the actual song. I'll put a link to it in the description. But it's just hilarious because he's clowning these cops as they're going through all this stuff, you know, like, hey, you know, did you find 1 million pounds of weed inside my coat pockets? You know, did you find any of the kidnapping victims in my closet? Like, what the hell is going on? You corrupt ass cops. They're clearly going through his stuff, trying to take money. And, you know, he addresses that in the song. He actually did another song recently as well called, I don't want to mess it up. Why You Disconnected My Video Camera. And that video is even better, where he's like directly saying stuff about banging the cops' wives and stuff like that. So today in my feed, I see this story that these cops are actually suing him, the cops that he made the video about, which is proof that it worked. You know, it's such a brilliant flipping of the script. You know, because I don't know if you've ever seen the documentary Making a Murderer, right, on Netflix. But what's messed up now is if this goes to court, the cops, you know, if you've seen that show Making a Murderer, the reason I brought this up, it's clear that the prosecutors and the cops and the judges all know each other. They see each other every day. If you're a cop in this county, you work directly with the courts. So you have a very unfair bias and advantage in your favor. So I hope people watch this case close if it proceeds. Hopefully it gets thrown out, but because really hilarious. This guy, what a genius. I mean, props to you, Afroman. You are a friggin' genius, my friend. But let's read this story because this is hilarious. This is just hilarious. Again, here's the headline. Rap artist Afroman sued by officers who raided his home. And proof it worked. Proof the videos and the songs worked. And this is only going to, in my opinion, make it bigger. Hopefully, you know, go listen to the song if you haven't heard it yet. It's amazing. Watch the video. Give this guy the views and the clicks that he deserves. If he hasn't gotten them, he's gotten a lot. But so here's the article says, it's in Winchester, Ohio. 7 law enforcement officers have sued rap artist Afroman, accusing him of improperly using footage from a police raid on his Ohio home last year in his music videos. 4 deputies, 2 sergeants, and a detective with the Adams County Sheriff Office brought the suit earlier this month, claiming invasion of privacy. The chutzpah. Other law enforcement officers who were involved in the raid are not named as plaintiffs. The plaintiffs say the rapper, whose real name is Joseph Foreman, took advantage of their faces obtained by the August 2022 raid and used it in music videos and social media posts without their consent. They say that he has caused them, quote, emotional distress, embarrassment, ridicule, loss of reputation, and humiliation. No, I think you caused yourselves that. He just captured it on his videos. The plaintiffs are seeking all of Foreman's profits from his use of their personas. That includes proceeds from the songs, music videos, and live event tickets, as well as the promotion of Foreman's Afroman brand, under which he sells beer, marijuana, t-shirts, and other merchandise. They also seek a court injunction to take down all the videos and posts containing their personas. The suit names Foreman, his recording firm, and a Texas-based media distribution company as defendants. In an Instagram post made Wednesday, Foreman vowed to countersue for the undeniable damage this has had on my client's family, career, and property. Law enforcement officers were acting on a warrant that stated probable cause existed for drugs and drug paraphernalia would be found on Foreman's property and that trafficking and kidnapping had taken place there. Authorities have said those suspicions turned out to be unfounded, though, and the raid failed to turn up probative criminal evidence. No charges were ever filed. So they embarrassed themselves, and he took advantage of it, flipped the script, and now they're trying to sue him for that. So I want to watch how this case develops because it really bothers me, like I said. So these guys are obviously upset that Afroman flipped the script on them, and now they're trying to go and take all his money that he made clowning them, essentially. So this last part of the article is the real clincher. And again, the reason that I hope this case ends up being ruled in his favor. When cash seized during the raid was returned to Foreman, it appeared that hundreds of dollars were missing. A subsequent review by the State Bureau of Criminal Investigation determined that the deputies had miscounted the amount seized during the raid itself. So these cops, wow, straight up crooks. And they have no one to blame but themselves for this. I mean, if nothing turned up, where did they get these accusations? What were they acting on? Whose accusations were they at? What evidence were they acting on to warrant this raid? You know, they clowned themselves. So anyway, I thought this was a hilarious piece of news, a hilarious kind of follow up to his videos, and I really hope it gets him a lot of attention, additional attention for these videos. So there you have it. That was me 3 years ago in March of 2023, kind of laying out the whole basis, you know, the whole story. And I thought that was a good way to open this piece. So I want to show you now just some footage from the case, because as you probably know, the case, of course, did go to trial. And here is, let me get this on the stage for you. Afroman lays down facts, wrapping up his time on the stand. Afroman drops hard truths. As his time on the stand wrapped up today, Afroman decided to let the prosecution hear it. If the deputies wanted to avoid public scrutiny, they shouldn't have kicked down his door and stolen his money. I have a right to kick a can in my backyard, use my freedom of speech, turn my bad times into good times. Yes, I do. And I think I'm a sport for doing so. So here is Afroman.
And the more lies, outrageous lies you tell about them, the more money you can make, right?
Fact, they never should have came to my house in the first place. Fact, if they hadn't came to my house, they wouldn't have put themselves on the video camera and in my music career. All of this is their fact. All of this is their fault. And they have the audacity to sue me. These people and you are the predators and the victim at the same time.
So what they did, searching your house, gave you the right to do everything you
under the circumstance that I got freedom of speech. After they run around my house with guns and kick down my door, I got the right to kick a can in my backyard, use my freedom of speech, turn my bad times into a good time. Yes, I do. And I think I'm a sport for doing so, because I don't go to their house, kick down their doors, flip them off on their surveillance cameras, then try to play the victim and sue them.
And the more lies, outrageous lies you tell about them, the more money you can make, right?
Fact.
So this is the feel-good story of the year, and I think it's kind of like uniting left and right. It's the real America podcast.
And you saw how upset she was when she was answering your lawyer's questions about how this had affected her, right?
Yes, yes,
And you saw your attorney say, do we need to take a break?
yes,
And you saw her say, no, let's go on and get this over with.
yes, sir.
You saw all that.
Yes.
You knew she was upset.
Just like she knew I was upset when she was standing in front of my kids with an AR-15 with her hand around the trigger ready to shoot me. Just like she knew I was upset when she cut my cameras. But I'm not a person. She is. So I'm sorry for being a victim. Let's talk about the predators.
Okay. So you saw all that. You saw how upset she was. You heard the testimony.
It's funny because I can almost guarantee you, just as I'm not trying to like act like I'm experienced any kind of prejudice here, but I guarantee you these cops thought, oh, this guy's some dumb stoner. He has that because I got high song. We can just roll in there and take his money and do all this shit, and there's not a goddamn thing he can do about it. That's why I get. This is why I'm gonna let him finish.
I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish.
About her children. You heard the testimony at the depositions about Randy Newland's daughter who came home upset. You heard all that, but you're still posting stuff about
Yeah,
it.
because I understand it was Randy's fault and all of their fault for coming in my house in the first place. So if they hadn't came to my house, their children wouldn't be saying nothing. None of this would be going home if they did their research and did things right. So all of this is their fault. And now they want to sue me for their mistake.
So what I think is so funny about this too, the best part about this going to trial is that you hear stuff like that. What that lawyer is basically saying is that the songs he made got around to where their kids were coming home and making fun of them because the kids saw the fucking videos at school and were making fun of their parents. So more than anything, all this like lawsuit did was kind of like put it out in the open that Afroman's kind of tactic of filming these assholes, corrupt asses, filming them, catching them on video, and then creatively making songs about them, and clowning them in the songs was one of the most effective ways to use, the First Amendment ever conceived in the history of the fucking country. And it's so goddamn beautiful. I said, this is the hardest thing a rapper has ever done in the history of rap music. Like, just rap is about language and using, your environment and writing about what your life is, right? And so it's like, just to see this, it just makes me smile so big. And the reaction to it from people across the political spectrum was very positive.
Is there anything that could change your mind about what you're doing to these deputies?
Is there anything that can change my mind about the fact that they shouldn't have been at my house in the first place? Is there anything that can change my mind about how my money shouldn't have been touched in the first place? No.
That's all the questions I have.
You're welcome.
Unrepentant for making songs that hurt the sheriff's feelings, who broke into his house and went through all his shit and found nothing, found no kidnapping or whatever they were accusing him of. So just in case you haven't seen it, this is one of the songs that he made about one of the cops they call Lemon Pancakes. Let me play a little bit.
Then I heard the glass break. They found no kidnapping victims, just a living high. Sheriff, he's hungry and he's big as hell. Sheriff, the pound cake, lemon pound cake, trending on TikTok, lemon pound cake.
So he made this video making fun of this cop who this is from his security camera video, right? Of these fat cops like trolling through his kitchen, checking out the pound cake.
What was that?
It's just absolutely fucking glorious. Is it not? Is it not the most glorious thing? And of course, to wrap this up for you with a bow, the final verdict in the Afroman trial is here, right here for you. Listen closely, my friends.
It's been an emotional case. It's been a well-tried case. The lawyers did what they should do. The parties did what they should do. In all circumstances, the jury finds in favor of the defendant. No plaintiff verdict prevailed. It's been an emotional.
In all circumstances, the jury rules in favor of the defendant, Afroman, who's defending himself from a lawsuit by cops that broke into his house, who he then made the butt of jokes in songs that went viral on YouTube and TikTok and you name it. Ice Cube couldn't have effed the police better himself. You know, how to, like, it's just absolute fucking legend, absolute hero. You know, a rapper who, you know, outside of the Because I Got High song wasn't really like a rapper that I thought much about, but these cops attacking him and thinking they could just take him. Like I said, I'm sure they thought like, oh, this guy's like probably just high. We'll go raid his shit and take a bunch of his money and on some bullshit accusations. And they got caught up and served, and you'd love to see it. Congratulations to Afroman.
Yeah, we did it, America. Yeah, we did it. Freedom of speech. Right on, right on. Yeah, God bless America. Yeah, power to the people. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Potentially hot take, but Afroman's victory against police corruption is more inspiring than any POC or minority story pushed on us by Hollywood in the last 60 years. Anyway.
Afroman will bring it to ya. Afroman is gonna do ya. Afroman is gonna screw ya. My proof's on the internet.